Hello, DePauw Sports fans, and welcome to the second episode of Tiger Sports Nation for the semester. I'm Jack Crane.
And I'm Callaway Bird, former roommate of Jack Crane.
Look at that.
Winter sports are just about wrapping up their seasons as swimming, track, and basketball near their conference meets or tournaments.
And that's right, Callaway, because let's head down to the tennis courts where DePauw played two matches this past week. The men went into their first bout with fourth-ranked University of Chicago as the underdogs, and unfortunately came up short, falling 9-0 in their second match on Sunday. The Tigers faced 11th-ranked Kenyon Lords. Only the double pair of Noah Roberts and Thomas Partridge picked up a win as DePauw fell to Kenyon 8-1.
The 38th-ranked women also had a tough week, opening up play against the 8th-ranked Maroons of U Chicago. The Tigers fell 9-0 with some close games featured in doubles play. On Sunday, DePauw opened up their conference play against 14th-ranked Kenyon. Although it seemed like a close matchup on paper, the Lords bested the Tigers in just about every aspect of play, but the women held strong again with some good play in doubles. They'll travel to Worcester this week with the men to play at the Aspen Racquet Club.
The women finished in second place, totaling 93.5 points, 2.5 points behind first place Campbellsville. The Tigers amassed victories over three events, one by Jenny Knoll in the 3,000 meter, by Haley Thompson in the 5,000 meter, and by their 4x200 meter relay squad. Erin Pash finished second in the shot put, while Emily Wilson totaled 8 points with a second place finish in the high jump.
Shout out to DePauw women's track. Now to the men. They placed third out of 12 at DePauw's Small College Invitational, finishing with 67.5 points. The Tigers dominated the distance events. Those are my boys. First place, Kyle, come from the back, Munns, and Zane Williams finished first and second in the 5K, respectively. Then, freshman Jacob Bailey, he's hot, took another dub in the 3K, while Trevor Hofteaser finished second. Zane Williams, last week's NCAC Distance Runner of the Week, was able to come in and sit down with us where he talked race strategy, fitness, and more.
Hello, I am here with Zane Williams, the NCAC Distance Runner of the Week. Zane, thanks for joining me.
It's great to be here, Michael.
Well, let's just start things right off. This is your first NCAC Athlete of the Week honor. How does it feel to finally be recognized by your conference?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, you know. I had kind of a tough start to the cross-country season, and I came back for that. But unfortunately, I didn't get this during the cross-country season, so it's great to finally be here.
Yeah, and obviously you had a great end to your cross-country season. You came into the track season with some momentum. How have you used that to really move your track season forward compared to last season?
So during the cross-country season, you know, I had kind of higher mileage, so I was able to sort of have a bigger base going into track, and that's really helped me for the start of this season.
Yeah, definitely. We can see it. And finally, you go into different races, 3K 2 weeks ago. Last week it was the 5K.
Yep.
So when you go into different races, what's your race strategy? Do you like to go up front right away? Do you like to hang back and then kick?
First I like to see who's actually in the race. You'll see like where my times are against the other runners. But for these past two races, I've been generally towards the front for these. I finished first 2 weeks ago in the 3K, and then I was second in the 5K to my teammate Kyle. So I just like to run from the front for these.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You've been running really well, and can't wait to see what you do in conference.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you to Zane for joining us as both the men's and women's teams will be home this Saturday. You coming out, Crane?
I think I will. The women's basketball team had two electrifying games this past week. The fourth-ranked Tigers played Allegheny on Friday and found themselves deadlocked at 58 apiece by the end of regulation. During the overtime period, the two teams traded baskets until DePauw found themselves with a 68-67 lead with 33 seconds to go and were able to maintain that lead, winning 73-69. Sydney Kopp led the scoring with 22.
On Friday, the women played Hiram for yet another intense game just 1 day later. After being down 14 at the half and trailing by as much as 17 points, the Tigers mounted a comeback of seismic proportions. Stud Sydney Kopp scored 10 of her 26 points in the third quarter, bringing the Tigers within 1 point going into the fourth. From there, behind Maya Shannon's 6 points, the Tigers capped off the comeback, winning 65-62. They're home on Saturday against Ohio Wesleyan.
Sydney Kopp, all-time scorer in DePauw women's basketball history.
Sydney Kopp, she's the real deal.
I feel like that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Good for her. The men's basketball team also played Hiram and Allegheny this past weekend on Friday versus the Terriers. The Tigers came out firing on all cylinders, shooting 71.4% from the floor at the end of the first half. Aaron Shank, who finished with a team-high 18, scored 16 of those points before halftime. Although DePauw cooled off, they crushed to a 94-67 win and swept the season series against Hiram.
Congrats to both the basketball teams. Against Allegheny on Saturday, the Tigers played a much closer game. The first half was a back-and-forth battle as the Gators held their own against DePauw. But in the second half, DePauw began to pull away. Nolan Ginther, the beast, scored 21 of his team-high 38 in the second frame, while the defense held the Gators to 31% shooting from the field. They capped off the weekend with a 76-62 victory and play Wabash in Crawfordsville tonight.
You know, they call Nolan Ginther big meat. I guess big meat, big points. And as just a quick side note, spring sports are right around the corner. Softball will be traveling to Birmingham, Alabama this weekend to play their first game of the season, as other teams like baseball begin in a couple weeks. So, I think that's all we got.
Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search DePauw Channel. We'll see you next week. And as always, roll Tigs.
Shake and bake.
Oh, yeah.